Nursing homes in northeast Nebraska are using artificial intelligence monitoring for senior living care. It's technology trying to prevent falls that could result in fatal injuries.
And KTIV's Taylor Decker traveled to Norfolk, Nebraska to show us how this technology works.
That beep is an alert to staff, and it could be the notification to step in before a senior resident takes a fall. It's thanks to monitoring for safety risks through this device, Augie, a newer AI tool for senior living homes. Since September of 2024, Heritage at Fountain Point can track and follow trends in memory care residents' movements and patterns.
It allows us that capability to analyze the data behind the scenes on how to prevent falls in the future.
If something happens in a resident's room with no one around, a notification gets sent to the staff members, and that's when they can come in and even look back at the recording on Augie, seeing the residents as stick figures staying HIPAA compliant.
If Sally's getting up at 3 a.m. and we've seen a trend of falls maybe at that time, it's going to give us that data of what we need of the time that she's typically getting up and what that trend looks like, so then we can initiate with associates to make sure, hey, let's go into Sally's room around 2:45, seeming like she needs to use the restroom at that time, and then that helps mitigate that risk of falls for her.
The goal is to step in before a resident risks a fall. It's utilized at 14 other Heritage communities. At Fountain Point, there are devices in 26 apartments and in every common area in the memory care unit.
We have seen a decrease of 51% of falls overall, but then also in their bedroom alone in several of the communities, a decrease of 68%.
As residents go about their day at the facility, they say this program will only get stronger and smarter, ready to help prevent the next fall.
With AI and technology, it only increases what we need to know about the residents. It's able to give us that data behind the scenes to help then prevent those falls in the future.
In Norfolk, Nebraska, Taylor Decker, KTIV News 4.
Now, this is a service that is included with the facility. Families can opt in or opt out after training on how the technology works.